welcome to this week's episode of Taking Care of Business. This week I'm joined by Fintan Flanelly, the head of our developer sales team. Going to cover a few subjects with you all, from Cityscape to golden visas to the countryside of Dubai, and a couple more chucked in at the end also. So to kick things off, let's go cover Cityscape. Fintan, I know you spent a lot of time there. I didn't, because I was hardworking. Just joking. So first of all, let's explain to everyone, what is Cityscape?
So Cityscape has been traditionally this event at the World Trade Center here in Dubai, where all of the developers in the market would congregate and show their newest and latest, greatest projects. This year, it ran last week for 3 days event. It probably wasn't as big. It's the first time it's come back to World Trade Center since COVID.
Oh, really?
Last year was out at the expo, in one of the exhibition halls. So this year, Cityscape itself had maybe 4 of the larger developers at the show this year. But around the whole week of Cityscape, we had a lot of other events happening. That was Benghazi had the launch of their new project in the Coca-Cola arena. There was an event at Bulgari building up to the Blue Waters project that's been released. So there was a lot of other events planned in and around Cityscape, because there's a lot of talk in the market. Yeah,
it's that week where everything comes together, I guess, isn't it? Yeah. Where it's a good time for developers to put the launches on, to talk about new projects, new master plans, and new things that are going forward. I remember myself going to Cityscape a few years ago, and it's just a huge event, isn't it? I remember Sheikh Mohammed was there walking around, and this huge throng of people just following him all the way around. You almost get stampeded over.
I think this year now it was obviously the developers are there, but the year that's been in it, this is the year of the tiger, but it's been the year that the developers have roared back into town. But a lot of the developers this year, they didn't have to have a presence at Cityscape. So it was used as a platform for a couple of developers that were entering into the Dubai market for the first time, like RERA.
Good.
So RERA are a Sharjah-based developer. They've got 2 plots that they've bought in Dubai. They're making a statement in their entry. They're jumping into Jumeirah Golf Estates.
Wow. So what are they doing in Jumeirah Golf Estates?
So there's a project called Jury Hills.
Yeah.
294 townhouse villas and mansions that they took the opportunity at Cityscape to launch into the market.
So they are going for it then, aren't they? Because usually if a developer comes into the market, what we usually see is an area that we wouldn't maybe consider as a prime area, such as Jumeirah Golf Estates, and a much smaller development, maybe a cluster of 30 townhouses or 40 townhouses. So they're really pushing the boat on.
So as I said, they also bought a plot on the Palm.
Wow.
So it's a statement of intent to go into the 2 most prime locations within the Dubai market with this developer. So again, as I said, they got 3-bed and 4-bed townhouses. Starting point, you're looking at 3.99 million.
And what kind of design can we expect from them? Is it traditional? Is it modern?
So Arada are very well known in Sharjah for low density, lush greenery, a lot of amenities and facilities within the community. The design of the townhouses themselves are again keeping on vogue with what's in the market demand. And that is that contemporary. So traditionally we had seen more Mediterranean and Arabic style homes. And what we're seeing now, I'm trying not to mention Talal Gaff today, but it's too late. That contemporary home that's come into the market, that there's just an appetite for these beautifully designed, light-filled homes. And I think that's what they're trying to do is, by having a low density, lots of greenery, they're trying to bring the outside back into your living space, that when you're inside, because in Dubai you're going to spend the majority of your time indoors, aside from this time of the year, which is beautiful. And they've done a really good job on the design, but they've also got a place in the market as well where there's a severe lack, and that's in that kind of uber luxury segment. So they've got mansions coming up there in the later phase, 22 to 24 million dirhams as well.
Very nice.
So it'll be a nice mixed development, where, as I said, you want to be part of a community that has mansions, but you've got a 3- and 4-bed townhouse and 5-bed independent villas.
Good.
So it was great, again, for them, it was a great launch pad for them to go into Cityscape, where you had the meeting of the developers, you had the brokers in Dubai, and you had those investors that are coming in, that are exploring the options in Dubai at the moment. People that are in Dubai now at the moment for the World Cup, while they're here during the day, went down to Cityscape to see what it had to offer. But it was, again, you had, who else have we got down there?
So sorry, just to pick up on that point, people came, like football fans, spectators, came over to Dubai, maybe in transit to Qatar, maybe even just to stay here and watch the football, because we've seen that a lot. And whilst they're in Dubai, predominantly come to watch the football, they've also gone to Cityscape to see about investment in Dubai.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally Dubai at this time of the year attracts a lot of focus from the world. People come here for the tourism, they come here for everything that Dubai has to offer. But once they're here, they fall in love with Dubai. And what we're seeing is a lot of people that are coming maybe over from the UK and Europe are now staying in Dubai, travelling to the games, coming out of Al Maktoum Airport on a lot of the flights that Fly Dubai have put on. But during the day, they're looking here and saying, hang on a second, there's so much positivity around here. And when they're out talking to people and they're getting the vibes of what's been happening in Dubai, like we're in a bubble here, we think this is now the norm. When we go home or listen to people that are at home or in Europe, we realise that this is not worldwide. This is what's quite unique to what's happening in Dubai. So again, it was at Cityscape last year that Select Group launched Peninsula, and they've gone on phase after phase selling throughout the year. But again, it's been targeting that a lot of European global investors coming into Dubai.
So picking up on Select Group, what did the big boys or the bigger players in the market do this year at Cityscape? You like a Select Group, Nikhil, Damak, Emar?
Well, interesting enough, this year, there wasn't the presence of the big guys. There was, if I was to say, there was Azizi, Danube, Arada, who are new into the Dubai market. And we had, as I said, Danube launching a project in JVC. It's okay. Again, they're famous for their 1% payment plan, 6-year payment plan, paying 1% per month. So this is their first time they've gone into JVC.
Does that work? So what's the down payment on that? Like maybe 40% down payment?
So initially, what you're looking at typically is a 2-year construction period, by which time you'll have paid about 52%. And after handover, you'll maybe get a 4-year post-handover payment plan of 1% per month. So for people that there's a lot of people there that can't get mortgages, or because of their beliefs don't want to get mortgages. So a payment plan like this, once you can get to that milestone of the approximately 52% at the time of handover, then you've got 4 years. So now you're no longer paying rent and you're paying 1% per month. So it's like a mortgage, you're paying on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And that's been a formula that since they launched back in 2015-16 in Al Farjan, Studio City, and other locations that are not prime locations, but they're along that Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed corridor, has worked very well for them. Again, they launched their project there. Shoba, again, used this as a platform. So Shoba are the master developer for Shoba Heartland, and they've nearly exhausted all of the plots. So in there we have our townhouse, our villas, and our apartments, 2 schools. So now, very interesting, on the other side of the Al Ain Road, back at the Al Khail, Ras Al Khor, they've got a new master community coming up there. And again, they use this as a platform to drum up a lot of interest. A beautiful, iconic building, Shoba 1, they launched this. But even on the back end of having that kind of momentum from Cityscape, even yesterday evening, we had details coming out of a new project that they're going to launch in the marina.
Shoba are launching.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So that's the first time that's there.
Yeah.
And again, Cityscape is just this moment in time that, whilst a lot of the bigger developers weren't there this year, because they're selling out, they don't need to be there.
Yeah.
It had all of the other developers that weren't there having their own events, like Shaima launched a project in JVC. You now have Iman, who got an award at the Cityscape, now about to launch a project in Dubai Hills on the back of selling 3 projects in JVC this year. So there's an awful lot of activity that happens outside of the World Trade Center during Cityscape, but it really brings a focus to what's happening
to real estate in Dubai. So that's from the selling side. And I know this is a question we ask a lot on the pod, but I think it's always one that people are interested in. Who's buying at the moment? How are they buying? Where's the money coming from?
again, we look at UK, France, Germany. You'll always have your traditional India, Pakistan will always come in here. Obviously, with the political situation that we've spoken about before in Ukraine, you've got a lot of people coming in from Russia and buying, and Ukraine as well, because again, there's this desire to, while crypto is doing its own thing and stocks and shares are volatile at the moment, people know real estate is safe. And if you leave your money in real estate for time, over time, you'll have a very good investment. They also want to get their money out of their own currency and dollarize it. And one very easy way of doing that is going with the developers. We're not coming now into the secondary market, trying to find the right unit, looking at, they just go to some of the big players in the market who can produce the paperwork that's required. If there's, some countries will have currency control restrictions. I'm just thinking of a client last week that came in, and you know, as we're discussing the investment, he learns about the golden visa, and then all of a sudden he's now going to say, listen, I want to have that. I want that golden visa as a bit of a backdrop.
So this is a question I was going to ask you as well with regards to golden visas, and you'll be able to explain it better than me, but so far we've had a lot of interest around golden visas, both on the residential side and on the developer sales side.
Yeah.
Also the primary market and the secondary market.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But I'll let you take the floor. You just explain the situation for us, if you can, with people looking for a golden visa whilst buying properties off plan at the moment.
So there was different visa reforms announced, again, amidst the most of commotion in the world with COVID. Dubai is planning, again, you know, the Dubai 2040 urban plan is thinking 20 years down the road and where they're going. So in the middle of all of this, they want to grow the population. Currently, about April, we're looking at about 3.5 million. They want to grow that to 5.8 million by 2040. How do we do that?
I think it'll be quicker than that. Sorry to interrupt. I really think it will be.
The way things are going here, and like I'm here now just over 7 years, and then looking at around us where we're located now and how the city is growing and developing, I believe that that's going to be something that will, a milestone that Dubai will reach earlier as well. But part of that is then, how do you retain the people here that feel that they don't have to leave when they reach retirement age? How do we attract students? How do we give special talents in innovation, sciences, come to Dubai? But then the other one was the investor visa was kind of like a shorter term, 2-3 year visa. They had it initially at, if you invested 1 million in property, they reduced it to 750,000. But then they introduced the golden visa. Because I think on the back of it, people realize that 2 to 3 years doesn't give me enough security. If I want to a 10-year visa to come to Dubai, if I invest 2 million dirhams, I can apply for a golden visa. And the uptake of that this year has really, everyone knew it was going to be very popular, but I think it's surpassed even
It's
greatest
been phenomenal.
expectations.
So can somebody go to a developer now, meet the requirements for the equity they need to put in, and get a golden visa?
Yes. So when you're buying off plan compared to secondary, you're going to have a title deed and you're going to show that there's 2 million paid towards that property. So even if that property is mortgaged, they have to still demonstrate they've paid 2 million towards that property. So what I'm seeing at the moment is people are coming in, and rather than buying with secondary, they're going to the developer because it's just ease of business, but it's a new project, good payment plan. But I'm even seeing people now, they still have to pay that 2 million dirhams. So they're making advance payments. So instead of paying 10% on booking, 10% in 60 days, and maybe going to a time or construction linked payment plan, they're now coming in and making that advance payment. Now, a caveat to this is that since the 3rd of October, when the golden visa came into effect, down at the Cube in Dubai Land Department, where you'd go to apply for it, we're still waiting some final details, because I think what they want to make sure is that there's going to be developers that need to be approved. They want to make sure that money isn't being paid on a project that is going to get delays or has a history. So I'll put a caveat there at the moment that if somebody is looking to buy off plan and they're doing it for and they're making an advance payment to the 2 million threshold, do so with the more established, reputable developers in Dubai that have a track record. Again, this is something that can be checked with Dubai Land Department. So do it first rather than be sorry later.
Check first. And who would you say are the non-reputable developers in Dubai?
Well,
okay, so let's move on from Cityscape and Golden Visas. Just a couple of other things that we've seen in the news. So something I was quite interested to see, the desert tourism or the countryside plan for Sheikh Mohammed that is introduced. Bringing that back to property, do you think that will have an impact on developer sales, interest in the region? Do you think we'll see properties or property developments encroach closer to where these tourism spots are?
Well, I know with what's been launched recently, it's moving further out, and they're talking about 100-kilometre trails and going out with balloon rides close to the, I was going to say Love Island, not Love Island, that's a different show altogether.
To the Love Lakes.
It's the Love Lakes, yeah, thanks very much. Maybe Love Island will come here. There's enough fantastic mansions and villas, maybe some of the antics.
I don't think that'll get through,
But I think anything that brings tourism into Dubai has spin-offs. People come here, they see Dubai, the aspiration is to the return visitor all the time. So you know yourself, you have family that come. A lot of people go places and they rarely repeat going back to the same place. Dubai is a magnet for people to come back. So every year there's something new to do.
Yeah.
So again, keeping with that kind of innovative spirit that Dubai has, this is just another extension for the tourism. And I think at this time of the year especially, the amount of people that are actually living in Dubai that you'll see down in Carrefour or Decathlon getting their tents and camping, this time of the year, it is just a completely different side to Dubai that is so far removed from the bling and the skyscrapers. It's a bit like going down to Old Dubai and the Creek.
Yeah.
But now you're going into the middle of the desert. The falconry, they'll do the hot air balloon rides, and a lot of more treks.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and I framed the question before, but I honestly hope that development doesn't encroach out there and that houses or property isn't built close to there, because I think it does offer a different type of lifestyle, and it offers something for both people living here and people visiting here. So I hope it's like Sheikh Mohammed says, it is a countryside, it's a different side to Dubai. We've got the amazing city, now let's show off the amazing countryside and desert spaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Okay, so coming on to something else that's been in the news. RERA has doubled down on real estate guidelines this week. So what RERA have done, it's more of a document that's issued to real estate companies and agencies rather than the wider market. However, I think it has been picked up on a few news sites, which is brilliant. It's just reaffirming the values and the regulations and how we should operate as real estate agents, which I know we were talking off camera, we're a big fan of, because if you go on this, I'm sure people watching are on some of the social media groups and the Facebook groups, and real estate agents have a terrible reputation in general. And unfortunately, with some operators in the market, it is deserved so. I mean, I think anything that can be used to bring up the standards in the market, any regulations, or the more regulations we have to abide to, the better, really.
Listen, as you said, anything that elevates the standard of services that, again, this is all about the end user, the consumer, that they get, has to be a good thing. Now, I've come from a real estate background, doing it for 17 years. You're there as well, but there's new people that come into the market, and there's some companies there that, don't give them training, don't invest in the broker card and ongoing development. And therefore, they're left to their own devices. And therefore, there's going to be those Facebook groups. I saw one last night. One woman is looking for something in the villa, and somebody's jumping on there trying to give her something, an apartment in the marina.
Yeah.
So anything that kind of elevates the industry, and I suppose, with this new listing of maximum of 3, rewards the businesses that are doing things the right way, can only be a good thing, surely.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We've said for a long time, the more Most companies don't say this, but the more regulation and the more that can be brought into the market from people like the Land Department and RERA, the better really for us.
Actually, when they send out these circulars, it is all about education and reminding people, because a lot of people, they'll come and do the broker course, get their card, and they don't have that mindset of ongoing development. So reminding people that are already in the industry that this is the code of ethics. This is what is expected of you. You know, you've got a duty of care. I've used this word a couple of times in the last week with somebody because they had a very bad experience elsewhere, and the client was not given a duty of care. Now, how many people are there in the industry today that could actually say there's a code of ethics? And when I've accepted my broker card, that I've signed up to this.
Yeah.
And are they adhering to that code of ethics? Okay. So this is always a good thing when these things come out.
Exactly, I couldn't agree more. So finally, to wrap up things for today, Dubai Real Estate have got a note here, 4 billion dirhams worth of property transactions in 1 week. I think that was last week. So
yeah.
Overall, I think the market is still performing exceptionally. One thing we have seen, which you'll be able to comment on as well, traditionally with Allsop and Allsop, we've seen around about a 70% split of buyers being finance buyers, predominantly going towards the secondary market. This year, we're actually tracking at around 50% of buyers finance and 50% of buyers cash. So I think that speaks for the pattern of what's happening in the market. And
again, it's all this stat, and I had a little question mark in my head because data can be sometimes misleading. I'm not saying this is misleading, that is actually factual. But when you look behind it, in the last month, we had more transactions that were primary sales than secondary sales. Now, every primary sale is in effect a cash purchase, because you can't get a mortgage on an off-plan property until it's complete. So my little question back in my head on this one was, are they calculating that based on secondary, or are they taking into account what's happening in the off-plan market? Don't have the answer.
Good question. Neither do I. So thanks for bringing it up. We'll look into that for everyone. I know from our figures, we're taking both into consideration. But from a wider market point of view, we'll have to get back to everyone. I think that's probably a good place to leave it.
I'll tell you the reason why I say that is because the figure I had heard that was in one article was 20% mortgages. So the 20% mortgages would have to allow for off-plan sales. Because,
100%,
Yeah, so on that figure, not your figure, Paul, you're right. You're always right.
Yeah, now in the wider market, in the secondary market, there's not 80% cash. There's a lot more cash, but not 80% cash buyers.
Yeah.
Definitely. Good. Well, Fintan, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, as always, for watching. And again, as always, any questions, comments, whether you agree with us, disagree with us, anything you want us to talk about, let us know. If you can subscribe, like, comment on the podcast, it's also very much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.